So uninsured motorist coverage essentially means what it says. It's coverage that would trigger when the person who hit you, the at-fault party, doesn't have coverage. Or it's a hit-and-run scenario and you have no idea who hit you. All right? Anybody who practices PI in the Phoenix area knows it's pretty common to have a hit-and-run case. All right? So in that scenario, even though the other driver may have liability insurance, if we can't find the identity of that person and get the insurance information, it automatically becomes an uninsured motorist claim. Now in Arizona, you don't have to buy uninsured motorist coverage. Okay, again, Arizona only requires that motorists buy $15,000 in liability coverage only. So if they're trying to save money, like people often do, and just buy the bare minimum, nobody's going to get paid on that case. There's no money to be gotten. And hope they have health insurance and you can bill it as a physical therapist as opposed to chiropractic, and they'll pay you something rather than nothing. All right. Now, underinsured motorist coverage, that triggers when, in that scenario I mentioned earlier, somebody goes to the hospital, racks up a $20,000 bill, they come into your office and they're going to need a lot of follow-up care. But the driver that hit them only has the state minimum coverage of $15,000. Well, what happens then? That triggers underinsured motorist coverage. Right? And again, you've got to find out if they have this coverage. If you don't, you're basically throwing your hands up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to get paid. So this is how it works in the real world. If you have a case that's worth, say, $100,000, and the other driver has $15,000 in limits, underinsured motorist coverage pays the difference of what the value of the claim is. All right. So what happens is, say the case is worth $100,000, and they have $500,000 in underinsured motorist coverage. Your client exhausts the $15,000 with the other insurance company. They're going to get $85,000 from their underinsured motorist care. So it's going to pay the difference. They're not going to pay $100,000. They're going to pay $85,000, which is liability being taken out of that. All right. Does anybody have any questions on that? It's pretty straightforward stuff. Okay.
When you get uninsured, is it always uninsured, underinsured is always one policy?
No.
It always comes together? Or
I wish it was, because I've actually had 2 cases in the last 12 months contact me. They had $250,000 in uninsured motorist coverage and waived underinsured motorist coverage. And I looked at them and I said, why would you do that? Seriously, what was the logic behind that? And they didn't have a straight answer.